Good evening, Americans. How are you doing? Good. All right. Could you do me a favor? Could we get some patriotism, maybe with "God Bless America"? Just one or two lines, right? Yeah, God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her. I like the voice. In the night with the light from above, from the mountains, through the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. If you've served in the Army, could you stand? If you served in the Navy, would you stand? If you've served in the Air Force, would you stand? Coast Guard, would you stand? Okay. Oh, the best for last. If you served Marine Corps, would you stand? All right, there you go. All right. So my name is Chuck Smith, and I'm running for Attorney General. Listen, I think what the gentleman said was absolutely right. If you see what's happening on our streets, our country, there's a lot of reason to be worried and be afraid. Not just the government is doing these things to us, but individuals that we once thought were sane are acting as if they're possessed. Before I talk about that, I just want to put out on the table. I'm running for Attorney General. I just want to throw this out. I have more experience than anybody who has ever run for the office of Attorney General in 400 years. What am I saying? I've practiced law for 40 years. We've never had anyone to run for Attorney General who's had more than 40 years of practicing law. I'm a former Marine, retired Navy JAG. We've never had that combination. We've never even had a Marine 0311. We've never had someone who was the former chairman of the largest Republican Party city committee in the Commonwealth. We've never had someone that's fluent in Spanish. And we've never had anybody, God help them, that's been born on the 4th of July. So I think I've got the lion's share. I'm going to win this race. I know it because I know it's going to be all about experience. I want to say this to you. Any of you been to Matthews County? Matthews County. Oh, okay. So Matthews County, I had the luxury of going there, and I was going there to speak on the statutes. You know, they want to take our statues down. They want to take our monuments down. They want to deface them. They want to rename our military bases. Well, in Matthews County, they were having the vote, and I got there late. And I don't know if you've ever been to Matthews County. It really shouldn't matter, but everyone there was white, except for I think the people who wanted to take the statues down. There were like 3 of them, maybe 150 of the other people. And so when I walked in, I had my suit and tie on, and I told the chairman of the Board of Supervisors I wanted to speak on the statutes. And everybody, you could hear them say, "No, no, no, we don't want him to speak. We don't want him to speak. He doesn't live here." And then the Board of Supervisors said, "No, okay, sir, you can't speak. You have to sit down." And I sat there. I sat there for about an hour, and then I guess she felt sorry for me. She said, "Sir, we're going to let you speak when everybody's done." And the audience again went, "No, no, no, we don't want him to speak. He doesn't live here." And finally, when I got up to speak, you could see as I was walking to the podium, this loud chorus voice, "Boo, boo, boo." But when I let out with, "I'm a Marine, Navy JAG commander, retired after 26 years," they were going, "Yay, yay, we want to speak, yay, yay, we want to speak." I left there thinking that I am somehow a secret weapon for the Republican Party. Listen, the Constitution is at risk, and you'll hear me say that. It really is not that complicated. We have 3 parts to the Constitution. It's not my job to teach it to you. I know you know what I'm about to tell you. First is the preamble. And it goes something like this. "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity." It's simple. A projection, if you will, of what is about to come. And then we have the scary part. I call it the scary part. These are the articles where we take everything that we have out of our pockets, out of our lives, and we give it away. All the power is given to the Supreme Court of the United States to interpret the laws. We take everything we have and we give it away to the Congress. All of the power is given to the Congress to make the laws. Take everything, we give it away to the presidency. All the power is given to the president. And so you would think at that point there's nothing left. We've even sucked the air out of the room. But then we have another part that's coming in, and you can imagine being back then. I know none of us were back there. Being back then, people were saying, well, what's for us? We're not going to ratify this Constitution unless you give us something. And so they came to an agreement. And it's just 10 things they wanted, just 10 things, simple 10 things. They called them the Bill of Rights. Right? We want the freedom of the speech. And I'll just go through them in order. I'll come through it again. We want the freedom of assembly, freedom of speech. We want the right to bear arms. We want not to be quartered in doing civil times. We want the freedom against unreasonable searches and seizures. We want due process. We want lawyers, counsel, people trained in the law. We want civil juries. We want to be free from cruel and unusual punishment. I'm going to skip 9 and go to 10. And we, just in case we forgot something, this is what 10 says, the 10th Amendment. Because remember, that's all there were. That's all there were at that time, 1 through 10. Just in case we forgot something, because we know we're not all smart. We're not all knowing. In case we forgot something, then all power that we forgot, which was not specifically delegated to this monstrosity called the federal government, is reserved to the states. What's the next word? No. And to the people. Mr. Northam, that's and to the people. You don't have plenary authority, Mr. Northam. That power that you believe that might not exist in the Constitution doesn't just belong to you. It belongs to the states and to the people. You need to ask us consent if you want us to universally wear masks. You want us to universally do something which is not defined in the Constitution. But let's go to 9. Anyone knows what the 9th Amendment is? Of course you do. Right. These are the rights given by God. The rights of the people. The people retain the rights. And what's meant by that? I know Northam, Mr. Blackface did not read that. I know Mark Herring, Mr. Blackface, did not read that. And I know the gentleman who's involved in scandal was too busy. He didn't read that. But the 9th Amendment literally says these are God-given rights. And there's so many, we don't need to name them. There's just so many. And what could those rights be? The right to stand. The right to eat. The right to sleep. The right to talk. The right to hear. There's so many. These are the rights that are given to us by God. But the founders knew something. They were saying that we have some other rights. That although we're not going to name the ones that are in the 9th Amendment, these are the general ones, we have some others that we specifically want to name because we don't want people to get it wrong. The right to worship our God. The right to assembly. The right to bear arms. The right against cruel and unusual punishment. 8, the right against unreasonable search. These are the rights that they named. These are the rights that, and so, if you think in terms of God-given rights, the Constitution doesn't give us, are there kids here? Yes. The Constitution doesn't give us a darn thing. These are God-given rights. The Constitution guarantees the rights that are in the Constitution for us. And Mr. Northam, these are guarantees. The rights exist always. The Constitution does not sleep. It does not go to bed. It doesn't get quarantined. It can't be pushed aside. The Constitution always exists. There's nothing above it. There's nothing below it. It is the creation of everything that we know. Because we know that the states, a lot of people think that Virginia was here before the Constitution. Well, let's say it was. But it doesn't matter. Because it did what? It ratified the Constitution, which means it's a part of the United States, which means it comes out of the 10th Amendment. It comes out of that section that says all rights not specifically delegated. That is the formation of government. And that is the formation of this Constitution. So you can't take the Constitution and push it aside. It's like a child taking their parent and pushing them aside and saying, Mom, Dad, I got this. I'm 2 years old. I'm going to walk out and do my own thing. Mr. Northam, that does not happen. Because if you could, for any reason, suspend, pretend that parts of the greater document does not exist, then why can't we pretend and suspend that Section 44 of the Virginia Code, the office of governor, does not exist. Why can't we pretend that the office of lieutenant governor doesn't exist, the office of attorney general doesn't exist? You know, some time ago, about 4 years ago, a little known secret. It was thought then that the greatest threats to American security, the greatest threats to America, communism, socialism, globalism, anarchy, those could all be defeated by just 3 words: elect Donald Trump. We knew that if in a pinch, if in a crunch, if we needed to resurrect America and rebuild it, and all we need to do was get back to our faith, get back to our values, get back to our principles, get back to those things that made this country strong. And before I go through that, I just want to point out to you that we're in this situation right now. We're in this situation where Northam feels he has all the power, where government, the runaway Congress feels they have all the power, not because of something that we've done. We're in the situation because our elected officials were playing paddlywink and tiddlywink when they should have been protecting the Constitution. Yep. Years, we've gone before our elected officials, the great body, the great body in the sky, Republican Party of Virginia, and we told them, you are the protectors of the Constitution. Stop this good old boy system of putting people, the next person in line, the next person's turn. We need to find constitutionalists. We need to find soldiers. We need to find warriors. We need to find fighters. We need to find people who believe in the Constitution and elect them. We cannot blame the spineless, weak politicians who cave on Republican and conservative values. Why? Because they never had spine to begin with. They never should have been in that position to begin with. I say all the time that the simple things, the minor things, the small things that we think are not important, are very important to the average voter. Just think about it. It's not the nuclear weapons that cause you to not be able to sleep at night. It's not the grandiose experiments that cause you. Some of our voters just simply want to have a job. Some of our voters simply just want us to get back to the principles that made this country strong, the kitchen table issues, like that mother-father struggling to pay for groceries against the rising cost of food prices, that mother-father struggling to put food on the table against the discipline of a constrained budget, that family concerned about our children, their safety, their welfare, that citizen concerned about infrastructure, property rights, privacy rights, traffic congestion. In these Americans is American spirit and American pride, and we can't let that die. By and large, they're not looking for a handout. They're just looking for a way out of the massive debt, a way out of the lack of faith, a way out of the lack of vision, values, and principles that have made this country strong. I say all the time, if there is going to be strength for tomorrow, then it's going to be found in them, many of whom are trapped in excessive regulation, government overreach, violations of the Constitution, or their children perhaps may be trapped in failing schools. But we can never reach these Virginians, these voters, these people that we need to vote for us and vote for our conservative principles from the 18th floor of our monthly meeting rooms. You know, the RPV, they meet in this expensive building on the 18th floor. How are you going to connect with the people? We can't reach them from the revolving door of our inexperienced and least qualified candidates. We need people who are going to lead the charge for us, fight for us, and stand for us. And we need to stand with them. I say all the time that there is an answer in the Constitution for every single problem that you may face. And we need to tell Nancy Pelosi and the runaway Congress that laws don't give us our rights. We're born with rights. God did it. The Constitution doesn't give us our freedom. We were born free, born with freedom. God did it. God has helped us build this nation. And it seems like the devil and the Democrats are trying to tear it all down. So I say to them all the time, amen. We've got We've got to stop the socialists, the globalists, the anarchists, the communists in the Democratic Party, and for that matter, if there are any in the Republican Party, from continuing to take God out of the classroom, God out of the courtroom, God out from the halls of justice, and the Constitution off the mantle. We've got to stop, we've got to unite and stop these socialists, globalists, anarchists from continuing to try to rename America, remake America, redefine America, redo America, our monuments, our statutes, our way of life, as if the Constitution to them was just a ragdoll comic book. We've got to stop the socialists and globalists from giving away our rights to vote and drive on our highways to people who constantly break our laws, entering the United States when they want, where they want, how they want, as if somehow they're the citizens and we're the ones illegal. As if Mexico is somehow a part of Texas and East and West Coast is a part of Eastern Europe or Europe or part of Asia. We've got to stop these socialist globalists, no matter what party they're in, from taking away our rights to bear arms and our rights to worship God in our churches and our synagogues. We need to send a clear message. This is not the United States of the Democratic Party. This is the United States of America. And this is not the land of one world order. This is the land of one nation under God. It is not the land of anarchy, hopelessness, helplessness. They think we're helpless, hopelessness. No, this is the land of the free, the home of the brave. Rule of law. Border walls that keep crime out, keep drugs out, keeps criminals out, keeps terrorism out, and keeps Americans free. The conversation we should be having right now is about China. We're not having that because we're so engrossed, if you will, in these constitutional areas of overreach. Mask, wear this mask, don't wear that mask. We're citizens. The one thing I like about your sheriff is that he got it right. We're in charge. We're in charge. He's not in charge, we're in charge. Mr. Northam, you're not in charge, we're in charge. 10th Amendment says it. The people are in charge. But one thing we've got to remember is stop voting for people that your congressman says vote for this person. Stop that. Stop voting for people that, oh, don't vote for this person, vote for that person. You ask yourself, is this a conservative? Is this a true American? Is this a patriot? And you say, let me see your resume. Because if you are a patriot, if you are a true American, if you are someone who believes, that should be in your resume, right? Because if it's not there, it does not exist. And you're not going to find it. Stop voting for the people that they tell us to vote for. Let's do the examination ourselves and find out where they come from. I've got this favorite saying. I think if you want to be an elected official, you should be in the Marine Corps first. Seriously. You want to run for office, you should be in the Navy first. You should be in the Army first. You should be in the Coast Guard first. You should serve your country first. Maybe not the Air Force. I didn't say that. I'll tell you a little quip. We in the Marine Corps, and this is no offense. I love all our brothers and sisters in service, but we sometimes think we're the only real military branch. Everybody else is not a military branch. Right? So we tell people, hey, you were in the Navy, or you really want military service? Of course, I was a JAG officer. I think we have it all wrong. We need to get back to the conversations that we need to have. But in order to do that, we have to get away from what's being fed to us. I think it's high time that we start talking about the issues that really matter to Virginians. And I say this, I promise you this, to every Virginian, every American, the next Attorney General of Virginia will be an ally of America, not an enemy. Your next Attorney General will be an ally of the Constitution, not a Benedict Arnold. Will be an ally of freedom, not a traitor. The next Attorney General of Virginia will be pro-America, pro-Virginia, pro-Trump, pro-life, pro-children, and a card-carrying, 100% unapologetic supporter of the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution and our men and women in blue. giving allegiance to Old Glory, the Constitution, the flag. And I tell people all the time, you want to kneel for the flag, you've really lost what it all means and its real purpose. The only time these knees will kneel is when they kneel to pray for your soul, because you really don't understand that people have literally died so that you are here. And unlike those Republicans, unfortunately, I just have to say it, those Republicans who couldn't carry a patriotic tune if you painted it on their face, who couldn't carry a conservative tune from one aisle to the next, unlike those Democrats who, I see my good friend Amanda there, unlike the next governor of Virginia. Please. Unlike those Democrats who betrayed their country, their conscience, their community, and their Constitution. Only a Marine who enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1970 at the height of the Vietnam War when nearly everyone else was running away. Think about that, 1970. What were people doing in 1970? They were dodging the draft. They didn't want to go there. They didn't want to serve. Mothers and fathers falling on their knees, praying to God, please don't draft my son. Sons dodging the draft, going south into Mexico, north into Canada. Bill Clinton and others went east into Europe. Little Chucky went directly to Parris Island, South Carolina. And when I got there, Marine Corps is a nice band, but when I got there, I didn't enlist to play the flute. I didn't enlist to be in the band. I didn't enlist to be in the choir. I didn't enlist to drive a truck. I didn't enlist to be a clerk. I enlisted as an 0311, a grunt, ground pounder, an 0311, a fighter doing wartime infantry. What's my point? That's the type of courage we need in elected office. Selfless courage. The people are in charge. You're elected as a representative. Go serve. Go fight. I'm sick and tired of our elected officials right now. Where were they when these monuments were being torn down? Where were our elected officials when Mr. Blackface was running around suspending the Second Amendment? Where was the statewide emergency when he was found to have been running around in blackface? Where was the support for the Second Amendment when the General Assembly was giving its support for the ERA? At least they should have supported the idea that guns don't kill people, people kill people. But no, they can't go that far. They don't see. It reminds me of this movie. There was a movie that said, "We see dead people." I forget about that. The media sees peaceful protesters. You know, you could be burning down the building and they see peaceful protesters. Where are our elected officials? Why weren't they standing chained to one of the monuments, saying, "You will not take this down"? Why weren't they standing, arguing, or making the point that the laws that are being enacted are constitutional? I promise you this. My first week in office, every single law that was passed by the General Assembly January 2020 will be declared unconstitutional. Yeah. Only a Navy JAG commander who is retired after 26 years of combined military service, active, inactive, and reserve, who represented officers, enlisted commands, who served as a prosecutor, special assistant, United States attorney, and a command services attorney can make that statement and commit to it. Only the former chairman of the largest Republican Party city committee in the Commonwealth, Virginia Beach, can make that statement and commit to it. Only someone who's practiced law for 40 years, again, more than Bob McDonnell, more than Cuccinelli, more than a lot of the people that you know as lawyers. No one's coming this race. In fact, I'll make another prediction. Out of all the Republicans entering the race this cycle, I will have more experience than all of them put together combined in every single critical area. Only a person with that experience can make that statement. And then once again, only someone born on the 4th of July can stand up for this country and stand up for the values that we sincerely believe in. I leave you with this. If the defense of America, if the defense of our values stands nowhere else, if our freedoms live in no one else, it will live in you, in you, in you, in you, in me, in us. Join with us. Stand with us, because we're not going to turn around. We're not going to give up. We're not going to surrender. Not our land, not our vision, not our faith, not one doggone inch. I'll tell you like Martin Luther King said, when they come for our flag, every valley will be exalted, Every hill and mountain will be made low. The rough places will be made plain. The crooked places will be made straight. The glory of the Lord will be revealed, and all flesh will see together that this is our country, land of our birth. This is our country, grandest on earth. I, Chuck Smith, pledge thee my allegiance, America, Virginia, the bold, for this is our country, to have and to hold. Let me say this to you before I sit down. I was going to sit down after that statement, but look, it's critically important that we get people in office who say what they're going to do and do what they're going to say. How many times have elected officials got in and fooled you? We will not be fooled again. It is critical. People are talking about going in the streets. I've met with many militia who've talked about the very thing you've heard the gentleman say. They're not going to take this. They're not going to stand for this. I've got my AR-15, I've got my Glock 19, and I've got my Bible, but I tell you one way or the other, they're not coming for this flag. They're not coming for my children. They're not coming for the values that we all believe in. Just like the 10 Bill of Rights, just like the 10 Commandments, we need an Attorney General who has 10 endearing qualities. Knowledgeable, articulate, bilingual, charismatic, dynamic, energetic, good-looking, inspirational, or role model to Virginians. Thank you all. God bless you all. Let's get together. Let's work to save this country. God bless you. God save the Commonwealth.